Birmingham, Alabama, the year 1960. Busy businesses, bustling streets, a thriving steel industry. Ground zero for the civil rights struggle. How did Birmingham get here? To this point, could anyone predict the progress or the problems ahead? Fast forward 56 years, here tonight. The team at CBS 42 is taking you on a journey looking into our city's future. Welcome to Birmingham 2025.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sherri Jackson. Thank you for joining us. We are going on a trip to the future, forward, as Birmingham Mayor William Bell will tell you. It is the direction he wants to take the city of Birmingham. At 212,000 people, it is the largest city in the state of Alabama, anchoring the 7-county Birmingham Hoover metro area, the home to 1.2 million people. Tonight, the CBS 42 news team is giving the city a checkup ahead to 2025. Our reporters took a look at what's happening with the economy, jobs, with education, with entertainment. We even checked into the possibility of a professional sports team. But we begin this journey with Birmingham Mayor William Bell.
Look around and you'll see Birmingham is not standing still. The city is on the move. The pace of progress in some places is seemingly faster than others. Railroad Park. 10 years ago, this was a parking lot, as was the popular entertainment district now known as Uptown near the BJCC. And Regents Field, home of the Birmingham Barons, like that Field of Dreams line, build it and they will come. They sure have come by the dozens. Apartments, condos, restaurants, breweries, galleries, and the like.
Some people might see that as the end-all be-all, but I see that as just the first stepping stone to make Birmingham a city that residents who live here will be proud of it. People who visit here will be surprised and want to come back and even stay.
Each step, I learned from Mayor William Bell, who I talked to during his recovery from knee surgery, is an important step in the process of moving Birmingham forward.
Those are catalysts that has attracted people to come back to the downtown area. Now we can move into those neighborhoods to encourage businesses like here in the Inslee area to grow and prosper.
It's what Inslee business owner Antonio Sperling is banking on. His law office and event space are located in the area that is sure to be part of the growth and prosperity to anchor the Inslee business district. The plan in Inslee begins with creating more green space, similar to what you currently see downtown at Railroad Park, in Avondale, and in Crestwood. The mayor says city investment to renovate those parks attracted people to come into Birmingham's park system. The mayor showed me plans they have drawn up to turn an entire city block into green space in Inslee as a catalyst.
We've been talking with organizations like the Bethel Inslee Action Task Force about building residential condominiums and townhomes around this area.
One purpose, one vision, one Pratt.
It's similar to what was presented to the people of Pratt City, where a lot of foundational work has been done to transform that area with those same catalysts. New home construction, parks, the library. It was built after the 2011 tornadoes. One Pratt already has a $6 million grant from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. For Mayor Bell, this vision for a new Birmingham going forward has to include a look back at Birmingham's rich history.
Our local residents may not be aware of, Birmingham has a positive image in terms of human rights and civil rights around the world. We're the cradle of the civil rights movement. What I'm trying to do is to capitalize on that from an economic standpoint.
That includes the pursuit of a UNESCO designation as a World Heritage Site, but also an effort to declare the Civil Rights District part of the National Historic Trust for Historic Preservation as the Birmingham Civil Rights National Historic Park.
The best way to bring in money, in my opinion, to a city that was struggling was through visitors coming in, tourism.
The money brought in from the hotel occupational tax has increased 13 to 14%. The mayor believes a World Heritage designation will bring in even more people, and with them, additional lodging taxes.
You will notice that there are about 3 or 4 new hotels that are under construction in Birmingham. That's because of the rise and increase in visitors.
The new intermodal facility, already under construction, is a key component to Birmingham being a city on the move for those who visit and for those who live here. It'll link Birmingham's MAX bus to train and interstate transit, similar to systems in New Orleans and Atlanta.
We're working on several other transportation initiatives, a dedicated right-of-way for bus service that will look like train sets that will move north to south.
The mayor pitched the transportation plan to a group at Rev Birmingham in August.
When we pull back the cover here just a little bit, what is it that you would want to see change most to move the city forward?
Just convincing people that we're better than what we think we are, to build a sense of hope, a can-do spirit.
And that's why we're taking this look ahead to Birmingham 2025. Mayor William Bell joining us now. Mayor, thank you for taking the time to do this and to share your vision with our city. Why did you want to be a part of this?
Well, you know, first of all, I wanted to share this message with the rest of the citizens because as the mayor, I get a chance to see firsthand the respect and accolades that Birmingham receives from other areas of the country. And I want to be able to share that with the citizens to let them know that we are a great city. We are a city that's on the move.
And so let me do this, because for the next 20 minutes, we're going to dig into some of those areas I told you that our team has been working on. But I want to do this really quick with you, some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
I have them in an envelope, so we're going to be really quick. I'll ask the question, and then you tell me quickly the first thing that, I don't want to say the first thing that comes to your head, but the answer you want to give me.
That would be dangerous.
And so here's the first one. The schools, what do you think about the relationship between the city and the school board? How will that be different 9 years from now?
I would hope that both the school system and the city governance will come together as one entity to support the education of our children, because that's key to the economic vitality. Many people don't understand the relationship between the economy and education, and I hope that we can build the awareness that all of us can come together.
And so you mentioned transportation in the story by 2025. Is a light rail system something that's possible for us?
That is something that we're planning on. It will be called a BRT and a PRT. That stands for Bus Rapid Transit and Private Rapid Transit. Private is the key. You'll be surprised what that will entail. It's a vision of the future.
9 years from now, we want to look at that. My producer's telling me we need to get to this next story, and then we're going to come back with these rapid fire questions. I'm holding on to them. The next story, though, is about keeping our community safe, about crime. And when it comes to 2025, no doubt crime fighting will be a little different. CBS 42 News anchor Art Franklin took a look ahead with Chief A.C. Roper.
When Birmingham police fight crime in the year 2025, they will use futuristic investigative tools at their disposal.
Hey, Jan, what's coming? Double homicide, 1 male, 1 female. Killer's male, white, 40.
In the action mystery thriller Minority Report starring Tom Cruise, the chief of pre-crime used precogs, mutants who predicted crimes before they happened.
I need your help. If you contain information, I need to know how to get at it.
While it's unlikely Birmingham police will use precogs, Chief A.C. Roper tells me investigators will use pre-crime techniques.
So I think you're going to see a greater reliance on predictive policing, where police departments and think tanks try to figure out where the next crime will occur and who will commit the next crime.
Chicago and New York police are already quietly using the pre-crime technology, mostly targeting individuals who seem to show a high risk of being involved in the shooting. To support that technology, Birmingham police will rely on more electronic eyes, providing police with extensive surveillance video for their investigations.
You're going to see a greater reliance on technology, computerization and those types of things, surveillance cameras, and how you sync all those together, because this cyber area will continue to grow.
Growing as well will be the police force and even the building they're currently housed in. By 2025, Birmingham police are expected to replace their police headquarters. One proposal calls for moving into the former Social Security office tower. Right now, the police department is conducting studies because they're sure they'll need a new facility.
Especially 9 years from now, because it will be important to have a facility that can take on and encapsulate the technology and the cyber crimes and all the things that we'll be involved in.
In the coming years, to stay ahead of the changes criminals will make, Birmingham police will adapt. But Chief Roper believes community policing, the hallmark of his department's success, will remain constant.
As Birmingham continues to grow and more people move into the city, there has to be a greater reliance on those community partnerships. We can never let technology and computerization take the place of relationships.
In Birmingham, Art Franklin, CBS 42 News.
And Mayor, let's talk a little bit about the community, because one of the things that you are involved in is the My Brother's Keeper initiative. Yes. 2 years old. By 2025, it'll be 11 years old. Tell me the significance of that and how it's been so far and what you expect in the next 11 years.
Well, so far we're building up support for the My Brother's Keepers initiative. It's a combination of a mentoring program, of a job training program, of a social program that will help guide young people to a new path in life. Over the past probably a decade or 2 decades, we've had young people that's been wandering in the wilderness. And My Brother's Keeper is a program that will give people focus, give young people focus. But it calls for us to use our expertise to teach young people how to be productive citizens. And that's what's been lacking in the past.
And so that's the community angle. Then there's the part of just the fighting crime. We know we have ShotSpotter in some neighborhoods, and I understand you just announced that there's more money going into getting ShotSpotter in the communities. Why is that important right now?
Well, it's important because as Chief Roper and I discuss all the time, we're talking about force multiplier. You can only have so many police officers. They can't be everywhere all the time. But if you've got a ShotSpotter, there's technology out there that we can link that with drone technology so that we can get eyes on a particular location before the police even arrive. And that's key, to use technology for the benefit of the citizen.
Okay, that's 2025. Stick around. When we come back, let's talk jobs, let's talk entertainment, let's talk the economy. There's more Birmingham 2025 after this.
Thanks, guys. I'm gonna panel.
Birmingham's economy continues to adapt. Welcome back to our special Birmingham 2025 as we look ahead to what the next decade looks like for the city of Birmingham. I'm here with Birmingham Mayor William Bell. Birmingham is in the process of competing for a massive project in the software industry that could be a game changer by the year 2025. Perhaps, though, the biggest changes will be happening at UAB. Just ask our Alex Finney, who's been researching this for us.
The face of Birmingham hasn't changed overnight.
I was really pleased when now that they have redone the Alabama Theater and redone the Lyric Theater.
Lottie Jacks has called this city home for 85 years.
I went to see Gone with the Wind when it first came out at the Ritz Theater downtown Birmingham.
Downtown, the mecca for business, education, and rapidly becoming the hot spot for movers and shakers. And as we look to 2025, the city says skyscrapers are part of the future, and more companies, bigger companies, will be part of the fabric as well. UAB President Ray Watts says the university is actually leading that charge.
And we're looking to expanding and building a technology village in Birmingham, and it's probably going to cover a lot of different areas.
UAB makes up 100 blocks. That's roughly a quarter of downtown Birmingham. There's a master plan that will guide development over the next 10 years.
Our campus plan calls for more green space, especially where we border our communities, more bicycle and pedestrian lanes, less cars in the center of campus.
There will be 4 new schools, a school of business, college of arts and sciences, nursing, and a brand new world genomic medicine and data sciences building. All of this planning to debut in the next 9 years that will only continue to enhance the city skyline.
Probably by 2025, we might be 25,000 plus.
25,000 students and a world of opportunity at graduates' feet.
We have a generational opportunity in front of us now, and we're going to make sure that we capture it.
Capturing the future, just as Lottie Jacks remembers the past. A city with a rich history that helps shape the vision going forward.
I've always loved living here. Yeah. I wouldn't care to go anywhere.
Alex Finney, CBS 42 News.
And so, Mayor, I just want to ask your reaction to some of what you heard there. UAB does have a pretty big footprint in the city.
Well, we've been working with Dr. Watts and UAB along with the other major corporations here in the city of Birmingham to develop a 100 gigabyte broadband system here in the city. That will give us capabilities to attract tech companies and create new jobs and have the technology in place not only to do research at UAB and companies like Southern Research, but to attract those businesses to come here and young independent entrepreneurs who has a broad canvas to work on in terms of technology. But right now we don't have the structure, the infrastructure in place. But with the collaboration that we have with UAB and the other private sector in the city of Birmingham, it's going to change the whole technology dynamics here in the city of Birmingham.
What type of jobs would you like to see as common in Birmingham by 2025?
Well, you know, because of the fact the old labor industries where you need a lot of labor don't exist anymore. It's all about technology. It's all about giving people the ability to understand technology, not on the high level, but just on the basic level so that they can have those entry-level jobs. And that's what we're looking for, both the high-level research technology type jobs, but then the low-level jobs that pay a lot of money that will increase the average income of the citizens of Birmingham.
And so incorporating that technology into our schools is a big thing.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay, one of the things that we think will happen with jobs in our area, a lot of them already happening right now in the entertainment industry. Our Lee Garner took a look at the jobs that are being created in arts and culture in Birmingham.
Birmingham is experiencing a renaissance.
Fingers on the pulse, but the pulse keeps jumping.
In large part thanks to its creative side.
It's not a one-size-fits-all environment, so I think we're going to see a lot of smaller scale activities, exhibition activities that really target specific areas of interest.
That prediction could be realized in the form of Topgolf, a proposed venue that would complement Birmingham's Uptown District. Topgolf International is currently in due diligence to lease the land from the BJCC. And speaking of, the BJCC's Board of Trustees recently got their hands on a proposed master plan, identifying possible areas for additions and improvements that could shape the BJCC of 2025, like an open-air stadium north of Uptown and a major facelift for Legacy Arena. The Birmingham of today has benefited from revitalized and new performance venues.
Right now behind us, we are setting up for Yellow Wolf.
Don't make me go pop the trunk.
Who is actually an artist from Gadsden, Alabama.
Experts think acts like Yellow Wolf will only help to further national attention and interest in Birmingham.
When they're back here, it's electric in this room, and it just feels like home.
Which, along with Southern hospitality and some killer acoustics, has brought more performers to these stages.
This is where I deal, Bama.
So looking to 2025, those in the know think it's just the tip of the iceberg.
All of the incredible momentum in Birmingham that is being led primarily by creative work.
In Birmingham, Lee Garner, CBS 42 News.
A group called Create Birmingham did a study in 2014 looking at the labor statistics to prove the economic benefits for encouraging arts and entertainment. And their most recent data shows for the total number of creative jobs in Jefferson County, it generated $558 million in household earnings. And they say that's projected to only go up. Mayor, she mentioned Legacy Arena and an open-air stadium, and I remember the quest to get the DNC here. By 2025, do you think we will be able to host a major political party's convention in our city?
Oh, absolutely. When we chased after the DNC to come here to Birmingham a couple of years ago, we found out what our strengths were, but we also found out what our weaknesses were. And we're working fervently to fill those gaps in our weaknesses. Right now we have about 3 or 4 major hotels that are being built in the city of Birmingham. I've had discussions with a couple of people. There will be 3 or 4 other additional hotels within the next 24 months. So by 2025, we will have the hotel space to support a convention and conference like the DNC or the RNC. Don't leave them out.
We'll see who comes. Let's do this because that gets us to this issue about a dome. When you talk about a dome, you have to talk about sports. Our Jim Dunaway did the checkup to see what's happening with the sports industry, because here in Birmingham and all of Alabama, we love sports. But it's love-hate if you can't get the big team in your town.
Legion Field, once the football capital of the South, now a rusted relic of what Birmingham was, the centerpiece of Southern sports. Over the years, Atlanta and Nashville passed the magic of our city by constantly building new, updated facilities. Meanwhile, Birmingham just got older and older. But a new day is coming. The new outdoor stadium. It'll host UAB football, the Magic City Classic, USA soccer events, and so much more. Those events will have a unique energy because the stadium will be surrounded by a growing entertainment district.
That's going to become a very thriving part of the sports scene here in Birmingham and replace Legion Field. A lot of history there, but it's time to replace it.
Some of the new memories will come from UAB. The football team has that new energy, but the NCAA sports sands are starting to shift under them. Gene Hallman sees the writing on the wall. By 2025, UAB, Alabama, and Auburn will no longer be in the same divisions. At least he thinks so.
There'll be a separation of Division I. Doesn't mean that UAB football will be any less entertaining. It's just not going to be the same. These schools economically cannot keep up.
One of the more exciting items that will happen over the next decade, a total remodeling of the Legacy Arena at the BJCC. Some venues have been built for tomorrow already. Regions Field is a diamond in the baseball world, and the Barons only get stronger. Barber Motorsports Park continues to expand. The Crossplex in West Birmingham will have new retail venues going up around it, making it more attractive for the Olympic sport. Golf will continue to boom. In a decade, we'll be hosting the 35th and 36th Regions Tradition on the golf tour. The biggest growth, though, may come in Hoover, where the new multi-million-dollar additions to the Hoover Met will open the door for a boom in youth sports, all in one location.
There is such a huge demand for these types of facilities, and from a tourism perspective, it's going to be phenomenal.
All of this pieced together makes the next decade very exciting on the sports landscape. No, the NFL or the NBA is not calling Birmingham's name, but the Magic City has found its niche.
We're not competing with a professional sports team for the entertainment dollar or media space like you would in Atlanta, Charlotte, Nashville, New Orleans, whereas here we don't have that, and that's a benefit when it comes to hosting a wide variety of sporting events.
So with all that, the Magic City sports horizon has never looked better. I'm Jim Dunaway, CBS 42 News.
And so my last two rapid fire questions, one of them, Mayor, 2025, will we have a sports team, pro sports team, or a dome?
We will have all of the above. I've been in conversation with the commissioner of the NBA. We are talking with representatives of the NFL. We may not have a first-tier NFL team, but there are some things that are going to be happening and changing within the next couple of years that Birmingham will be a player in professional sports.
And people are excited to hear that. And this is the last rapid-fire question. Will you be mayor in 2025?
Well, no, but one of my grandsons may be old enough at that time. We'll see. We'll see.
Retirement in the works. And so this is the part of the program that we've been asking our viewers, and I just want to ask you to do the honors. This is the CBS 42 time capsule, and if you will open on this end, Mayor Bell, do us the honors. We've been collecting things, people's vision for 2025, and you have a signed letter.
Yes.
That you will drop in. Now here we're showing where I went by. That's Dr. Ed Partridge at the Comprehensive Cancer Center at UAB, Child Care Resources, talking about our future with our children. And then we also have this from Gear Up, Alabama. But you get the honors of putting the first.
Well, this is a message to the future generations of Birmingham's leadership to say that it can be done. Just work hard and stay committed to the city.
Mayor Bell, thank you. Again, we're going to put some of these other items in there. We have from Gear Up, Alabama. We also have from the governor of Alabama. Sealed letter, not to be opened until 2025. Those letters we picked up. We have some what are those called?
We need to put a couple of Twinkies in there too.
And this, the thumb drive that you said maybe won't be around.
Yeah, the thumb drive will be outdated by then.
Mayor, we've been asking our viewers to go to our Facebook page and let us know what they would like to see for 2025. Go there, hashtag BHAM2025, and we will bury this time capsule this Friday. Thank you so much,
One
Mayor.
Birmingham 2000.